Welcome to Independent Education Question Time. Thanks very much for coming today and joining us online. And we have a fantastic panel here today as well. We've got top leaders from independent school sector, from research to running schools as well, and directors of education. And the panellists have travelled a long way to be here today. So starting on my left, where have you come from, and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Mark. Delighted to be here. My name is Gareth Collier. I am the Director of Duke's Education's Colleges. We have children from 0 to 22 in our group. And I'm also the Executive Director of High Performance Learning. And I've come all the way from sleepy Somerset this morning.
Right, good, thank you. Christine.
Hi, my name's Christine Cunniff and I'm the Principal of LVS Ascot, which is a co-ed day and boarding school, 4 to 19, in Ascot, Berkshire, near the famous Royal Ascot.
Fantastic. And where have you come from this morning? Have you travelled far today? I know we're at your school, but have you skipped across the playground to join us, or have you come across from further afield?
I certainly skipped across the playground, but that was after landing from Hong Kong at 5 o'clock this morning, so I'm here just for you.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
So my name's Sarah Matthews. I thought I'd come a long way. I've come all the way from Cornwall this morning, where I'm very fortunate to be the head teacher of Truro High School for Girls. We're girls only, and we're from 3 to 18. A little bit of a journey, but not quite so far as Hong Kong.
And I'm Duncan Murphy, Director of Education and Strategy for MTM Consulting, who are essentially a data and market research firm. I offer data-driven solutions to help schools and businesses understand their place in the market and socioeconomic resilience.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us today. And I'm Mark Brooks from Mark Brooks Education. I've travelled a long way to be here today as well, flown overnight from Nigeria, and we landed at 4:30 this morning, and I believe you landed at 5 this morning. So it's great to be here today. This session is about finding out why independent education is important, why it exists, and we're going to ask some really tough and difficult questions. Is the independent school sector in the UK relevant internationally, and how and why? And perhaps talk about your experience with Duke's Education colleges.
Thanks, Mark. I'm firmly on the fence of the benefits of internationalisation within the British boarding school element, and even within day schools where we have students coming over and living with their families in the United Kingdom. In terms of the students themselves and their families, UK PLC is a huge draw overseas. The quality of education we've had going on here from our schools, 600 years worth of education under our belt here, huge quality, massive pedigree, with young people who've been coming through this over the decades and the centuries, if you like, making it into top positions in companies, businesses, even royal families from all around the world. And they come here because there is a kite-mark of quality from British education, and I think the benefits to them are enormous. But also, the benefits are within the schools themselves. Having international people coming in to rub shoulders with each other, with British students in our communities is fantastic. I always say my students leave the schools with a set of key characteristics: great results, top places at top universities, and an address book of over 500 names of people they have touched and crossed paths with in the time they've been here. And those people are all going to be shakers and movers in the future society. We're a global village, and boarding schools and British independent schools, they exemplify that.
That's fantastic. So we're a global village, and the independent school pupils within your schools are benefiting from international students. But what benefit does that bring to UK PLC? Do these international students just stay within the independent sector? What happens to them afterwards? Does the local economy benefit in any way at all?
Well, if we do a good job, quite a few of them stay and contribute to economy. If we think that last year there were 26,165 students went to British boarding schools from an overseas location, or British boarding schools that are part of the ISC, that's a huge number. And on top of that, they bring in £1.4 billion worth of fee income. So the amount of money that's actually coming into the United Kingdom from this basic fee introduction is enormous. But we need to remember that when young people come to the United Kingdom, as well as fees, they're spending in many, many other ways. The amount of money they're spending on travel, what they're spending on culture, and going out and enjoying themselves in the country. It's an enormous amount of money. On average in our school, we calculate to be between £10,000 and £14,000 a year per child. And of course, the effect of that immediately is strong, but the multiplier effect of that through the economy is enormous. We have families and generations of people who actually rely on the income that comes in our local areas from the international students who spend within the local area. So a huge, huge benefit to our British society.
Thanks very much. So it benefits your school, but it also benefits the wider area and employment in the wider area as well. Sarah, if I could come to you, you're from Cornwall and you've driven up 6 hours to be with us today, which is fantastic. Do you have international students at your school, and what do they bring?
We do, absolutely, and it's actually something that we really cherish. We think it's really, really important. When I started as the head teacher at Truro High School for Girls, it was actually Cornwall, and the census was 96% white. And so that ethnic diversity in Cornwall was lacking. It's now 98.4% white, but actually our international students are a way of making our community really vibrant, allowing the girls to develop global mindedness. It's not just all about the colour of somebody's skin, but the different cultures that we have. We have students from Malaysia, from Mexico, from West Africa, from Asia, and it's just absolutely brilliant what they bring in terms of understanding and cherishing and respecting. You know, we're so far beyond tolerance in our society now into cherishing the idea that we can understand one another and appreciate the different things that people bring to our communities. And also the work ethic. I will say, the work ethic of an international student brings up the way that the students in my school behave, even though we've got some incredible British students too.
And you've told us in the past about some students, maybe from Ghana, who've done well at your school, and perhaps you could give us an example there.
Yeah, we've had some amazing students from all around the world. The one that springs to mind will probably be Kiara Michelle. She came to the school. She actually ended up as part of my head girl team. She made a huge difference in our community through mentoring. She was one of the Green Power racing car development team. She won international awards in terms of the Green Power achievements, and she's headed off to a UK uni now to read technical engineering and architecture.
So she's remained in the UK and she's at a UK university. Thanks very much. And looking at the whole sector as a whole, Duncan, you're involved with many, many schools. What impact does the international student body make in those UK schools? And does it have an impact on the wider community as well?
I think that the most significant points have kind of already been raised from an educational perspective, which is that certainly as a parent as well as a former head teacher, I always encouraged young people to grow up trying to understand that soft skills, if you'll forgive that